I think one of the key themes, one of the key risks, what all the CISOs are facing today is a ever-changing threat landscape. And what I mean by that is what started, say, way back, say, a decade back, right, where we were struggling to find a solution for various viruses, trojans, malwares. The threat has evolved over a period of time. The malicious code evolved itself from being a Trojan, a malware, to a destructive malware, to what we have ransomware. And ransomware happens to be one of the top risks that the CISOs are facing today, right? Because what ransomware effectively does, it just cripples your business, it cripples your business operations, and it has ability to throw you completely out of operation for a good period of time. So that continues to be the top risk. The second risk, which I would want to highlight that the CISO faces today, and it's been something which has been around, but it's got more pronounced over the period of time. That's the insider risk. While we've been trying to defend ourselves from all those external forces, external attacks, one area where I think CISOs and the community as a whole, when I say CISO, it's not just a CISO, but it's a community as a whole, needs to get in some more focus is the insider threat. Uh, Many a times we have seen that we do a lot of awareness to our employees. We try to push a lot of policies, implement a lot of controls for our internal systems. But these controls can be something which can be defeated by our internal sources itself. So insider threat is a second threat or the second risk, which I would highlight as a key risk for the CISOs. The third risk, which I would want to highlight, is primarily the self-assessment. We do a lot of, all our functions go through a lot of scrutiny in form of various internal, external audits. But what we really fail to perform is an honest self-assessment of our preparedness to any cyber threat, and doing a continuous improvement basis those inputs that we receive from these kind of engagements. Uh, this is extremely important. We have been talking about when we did our basic courses like CISOs and others. We talked about a PDCA cycle: plan, do, check, and act. That PDCA cycle is absolutely critical. So it's very important that we do a very honest assessment of our cyber preparedness, our control environment, our policies, procedures, because if we do not do that, if our controls, if our policies, processes, procedures, they are not aligned to the evolving threat landscape, that can be an imminent failure for a CISO. So the third risk, which might be a bit different kind of an thought process, but which is very important from my point of view, is a self-assessment and the improvement that will have to be done basis the outcome of the self-assessment of your controls and the entire ecosystem. The kind of environment which we are in, right? Uh, Increasingly, we are getting into a mindset which is a solution or a technology-driven mindset. So for every challenge, we end up deploying certain technology, certain solutions, which are point in time, which address that particular threat at that point in time, right? But over a period, what happens is we end up with a extremely heavy tech stack, extremely heavy tool sets. Uh, to my mind, to answer your question, the effectiveness of the solutions that we adopt, right? We need to kind of adopt a three-pronged strategy. One, we need to optimize the technology which has been deployed in our environment. What I mean by that, if you have deployed, say, an EDR or an XDR kind of a solution, have you really optimized it to a way that it gives you the data that you really want to come in from an EDR or XDR solution? The second bit is to synergize. We have a siloed environment to a large extent, which is very prevalent across organizations. Each tool operates as a silo, right? But to effectively contain the cyber threat and effectively respond to a cyber threat, these technologies they need to synergize amongst themselves. So it's very important that the second pillar of our strategy should be to synergize the tech stack that you have so that you get maximum out of the tools and technologies that you have implemented, and you are able to continuously enhance the cybersecurity posture for the organization. And the third bit, which is important and part of the strategy to enhance the effectiveness of the tools and technology, is automate, right? Because today we have a heavy reliance on people, processes to do certain activities for us. But the kind of tool stack, the kind of technology which is emerging, there's a huge scope for automating some of these actions. What it will help us? It will help us in reducing the time to detect. It will help us in time to reducing the time to respond, and at the same time, it will help us to manage the ever increasing workloads that a typical cyber defense team faces. So, to answer your question, very simple strategy: optimize, synergize, and automate. These are the three key focus areas which will help you to get more out of the tools and the technologies that you have implemented.